Jake, a spirited 9-year-old with a curiosity that often got him into trouble, found himself lost in the dense, sprawling forest behind his home. It started as an innocent game of hide and seek, but soon, the familiar landmarks disappeared, replaced by the imposing, eerie trees that seemed to close in around him. Panic set in, but he fought to keep his composure, knowing his parents always told him to stay calm in tough situations. As the hours dragged on, Jake's initial fear transformed into a profound sense of loneliness. Every rustle of leaves and snap of a twig sent shivers down his spine. He shouted for help until his voice grew hoarse, but the forest responded with only the haunting echoes of his pleas. Desperation began to seep in, but he held on to the hope that he would find his way back or that someone would find him. Jake's mind raced with memories of his parents' reassurances that he was brave and resourceful. He drew strength from these thoughts, forcing himself to take slow, deliberate steps in what he hoped was the direction of home. The forest was a maze, with paths that twisted and turned, making it impossible to know if he was retracing his steps or venturing further into the unknown. He stumbled upon a small clearing, a brief respite from the dense foliage. The sunlight streaming through the canopy offered a fleeting sense of warmth and security. Jake sat down, hugging his knees to his chest, tears threatening to spill over. He thought about his family, imagining their worried faces, which only strengthened his resolve to find his way back. The day turned to dusk, and the forest's shadows grew longer and more menacing. Jake's stomach rumbled, reminding him of the sandwiches he had left uneaten in his backpack at home. Hunger gnawed at him, but the fear of the unknown kept him moving. He knew he couldn't stay in one place for too long. He needed to find help or a way out before nightfall. As darkness descended, Jake's steps grew more cautious. Every noise seemed amplified in the silence of the night. He made a makeshift bed of leaves and tried to rest, but sleep eluded him. His thoughts were consumed by the need to stay vigilant, to listen for any sound that might signal the approach of help or danger. In the distance, a faint glow caught Jake's eye. It was a small, flickering light, like a candle or a campfire. His heart raced with a mix of hope and fear. Gathering all his courage, he decided to investigate, his small hands shaking with anticipation. The thought of finding another person, someone who could help him, spurred him on despite his exhaustion. He pushed through the underbrush, the light growing brighter with each step. As he approached, he realized it wasn't just a campfire. It was a lantern, held by a figure standing motionless in the clearing. Relief flooded Jake's body, and he called out, his voice cracking with emotion. But as he drew closer, he saw the figure was not what he expected. Standing before him was a woman, visibly distressed and bound to a tree. Jake's relief quickly turned to confusion and concern. He cautiously approached, his instinct to help overpowering his fear. The woman, seeing Jake, began to cry, her tears glistening in the lantern's light. Her distress was palpable, and Jake knew he couldn't leave her there. The woman's name was Sarah, and she was in a dire situation. Her eyes pleaded with Jake to help, igniting a fierce determination within him. Despite his young age, he felt a surge of responsibility and courage. He had to find a way to free her, and together, they could navigate the darkness of the forest and find their way to safety. Jake's mind raced with ideas on how to untie Sarah. He remembered the tools his father used for camping and wished he had something similar. But he couldn't dwell on what he didn't have. He had to work with what was available. He scoured the area, looking for anything that could help him cut through the ropes binding Sarah. The forest offered little in terms of tools, but Jake's sharp eyes spotted a sharp rock nearby. It wasn't much, but it was a start. He picked it up and began working on the ropes, his small hands steady despite the urgency of the situation. Sarah watched him, her hope rekindled by the boy's bravery and determination. As Jake worked, Sarah began to tell her story, her voice trembling with emotion. She spoke of how she had been kidnapped and brought to the forest by her abusive partner. Her voice cracked as she recounted the horrors she had endured, but she found strength in sharing her story with Jake. Their bond grew stronger with each word, each shared moment of fear and hope. Jake listened intently, his heart aching for Sarah. He realized that their survival depended not just on his ability to free her, but also on their combined strength to face the challenges ahead. He worked tirelessly, determined to break the ropes that held Sarah captive. The night was long, but their shared struggle forged a connection that neither would forget. As dawn approached, Jake finally managed to free Sarah from her bindings. Exhausted but relieved, they knew they had to move quickly. The forest was still dangerous, and they needed to find a way out before Sarah's condition worsened. With Jake's resolve and Sarah's newfound hope, they set off, determined to find their way back to civilization and safety. Jake's journey through the forest took an unexpected turn when he found Sarah tied to the tree. Her swollen belly and tear-streaked face struck him deeply, awakening a sense of duty he hadn't felt before. He approached her cautiously, aware of the urgency but also the fragility of the situation. Sarah's eyes met his, filled with a mixture of fear, hope, and pain. In that moment, Jake knew he had to help her no matter what. Despite his young age, Jake's instincts kicked in. He scanned the area, searching for anything that could help him free Sarah. The sharp rock he had found earlier proved useful, and he began to work on the ropes with a determined focus. Each fray of the rope brought him closer to liberating her, and each glance exchanged between them built an unspoken bond of trust and solidarity. Sarah's breath hitched with each movement Jake made. She could barely believe that this child, lost and alone like her, had found her and was now trying to save her. The pain and fear she felt were momentarily overshadowed by a flicker of hope. Her hands, once bound tightly, began to loosen, and she felt a surge of gratitude towards Jake, this brave boy who had become her unexpected hero. Jake's determination didn't waver, even as the task proved difficult. He remembered his father's lessons about knots and persistence, applying them now with a ferocity driven by the urgency of Sarah's situation. The ropes finally gave way, and Sarah slumped forward, free but weak. Jake caught her as best as he could, his small frame struggling under the weight but his spirit undeterred. With Sarah free, Jake knew their ordeal was far from over. They needed to move, to find safety and sustenance. He helped Sarah to her feet, her body trembling with relief and exhaustion. Jake's mind raced, trying to think of the best route to take, the safest path through the labyrinthine forest. He looked up at Sarah, her gratitude evident, and felt a renewed sense of purpose. Sarah's story tumbled out between gasps for breath. She explained how her partner had turned violent, how she had tried to escape, and how she had ended up bound in the forest, left to fend for herself. Her voice wavered with emotion, and Jake listened intently, his heart aching for her plight. He realized that their survival depended on more than just physical strength. It required trust and teamwork. Jake's small hand found Sarah's, and he squeezed it reassuringly. "We'll get out of here," he promised, his voice steady despite the uncertainty that lay ahead. Sarah nodded, taking strength from his resolve. Together, they began to navigate the forest, each step a testament to their combined will to survive. The journey was fraught with challenges, but Jake's determination and Sarah's resilience propelled them forward. Their path was filled with obstacles, twisted roots, thorny bushes, and the constant threat of wildlife. Yet, Jake's keen eyes and Sarah's cautious guidance helped them avoid danger. They moved slowly, conserving their energy, knowing they had to stay vigilant. The forest, once an ominous maze, began to reveal small signs of a possible way out, giving them hope. Every now and then, they would pause to rest, Sarah leaning against a tree while Jake kept watch. These moments of respite were filled with quiet conversations, shared fears, and the strengthening of their bond. Sarah's condition was a constant worry, and Jake felt a growing responsibility to protect her and her unborn child. The forest shadows grew less daunting with each shared moment of courage and determination. As they journeyed deeper into the forest, they encountered remnants of what might have been old campsites, signs of other people who had once traversed these woods. These discoveries were small beacons of hope, suggesting they were on a path that might lead to safety. Jake's eyes lit up with each find, while Sarah's spirit lifted with the prospect of a way out. Despite their progress, the forest's challenges continued to test them. Sarah's strength waned, and Jake's young body felt the strain of their journey. Yet, their shared goal of reaching safety kept them moving. The trust they had built became a crucial element of their survival, each relying on the other to navigate the treacherous terrain and keep their spirits up. Night fell once again, enveloping the forest in darkness. Jake and Sarah found a small clearing where they could rest. Jake built a makeshift shelter with leaves and branches, doing his best to provide some comfort. They huddled together for warmth, the forest's nocturnal sounds creating an eerie backdrop to their whispered conversations and shared resolve to survive the night and continue their quest at dawn. When morning light pierced through the canopy, Jake and Sarah felt a renewed sense of hope. They resumed their journey, driven by the knowledge that they had come this far together and could make it the rest of the way. Each step brought them closer to an escape from the forest and the beginning of a new chapter in their lives, one where their bond forged in adversity would guide them. Jake's small hands trembled as he worked to free Sarah from her bindings. The sharp rock he found was a crude tool, but his determination turned it into an effective one. With each frayed strand of rope, Sarah's freedom drew closer. She watched him with a mix of astonishment and gratitude, unable to believe that this young boy was her rescuer in such dire circumstances. Despite the crude tools at his disposal, Jake's ingenuity shone through. He used sticks and sharp stones to carefully cut through the tough ropes. Each minute felt like an hour, but he never gave up. Sarah's soft words of encouragement fueled his resolve, and eventually, the last of the ropes fell away, leaving her free but exhausted. Sarah's legs were weak, and she almost collapsed when the ropes finally gave way. Jake caught her as best he could, his small frame bearing her weight with surprising strength. He helped her sit down, his eyes scanning the surroundings for any immediate threats. The forest, once a source of fear, now felt like a place where he had a purpose, to protect and help Sarah. As they rested, Sarah's relief was palpable. She took deep breaths, savoring the freedom that Jake had given her. Her hands, once bound and bruised, now shook with a mix of exhaustion and hope. Jake watched her, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment and responsibility. He knew their journey was far from over, but freeing Sarah was a significant first step. Sarah's voice was shaky as she began to speak. She explained how she ended up in the forest, her voice breaking as she recounted the terror and helplessness she had felt. Jake listened intently, his heart aching for her. He realized that their survival depended on understanding her story and using it to navigate their way out of the forest safely. Jake's mind raced with thoughts of how to keep Sarah safe. He knew they needed to move, to find food and water, and to avoid the dangers lurking in the forest. His father's survival lessons flashed in his mind, and he applied them as best as he could. He helped Sarah to her feet, her body still trembling but her spirit clearly uplifted by her newfound freedom. With Sarah leaning on him for support, Jake led the way through the forest. He moved with a newfound confidence, each step taken with care and purpose. The forest was still a maze, but he used landmarks and the position of the sun to guide them. Sarah's trust in him was evident, and it strengthened his resolve to get them both to safety. The forest was unrelenting, with thorny bushes and uneven terrain challenging their every step. But Jake's determination and Sarah's resilience kept them moving forward. He found berries and a small stream, providing some sustenance and relief. They shared the small meal, their spirits lifted by the simple act of survival. It was a reminder that they could endure and overcome the challenges ahead. Sarah's condition was a constant concern for Jake. He kept a close eye on her, ensuring she had enough to eat and drink, and encouraging her to rest whenever possible. Despite his young age, his maturity shone through in these moments of care. He felt an overwhelming need to protect her and her unborn child, to ensure their safety and well-being. Each night, they found a safe spot to rest. Jake built small shelters from branches and leaves, doing his best to provide comfort and security. As they huddled together for warmth, Sarah would share more of her story, her voice filled with both sorrow and hope. These moments of connection deepened their bond, turning their shared ordeal into a journey of mutual strength and reliance. Jake's resourcefulness proved invaluable as they continued their trek. He fashioned makeshift tools and found ways to navigate the dense forest. Each day brought new challenges, but also new victories, no matter how small. Sarah's faith in him grew with each passing hour, her gratitude evident in every glance and word of encouragement. The journey was grueling, but the bond between Jake and Sarah kept them going. They faced their fears together, drawing strength from their shared determination to survive. The forest, once an enemy, became a testament to their resilience. They were no longer just a lost boy and a woman in distress. They were a team, united by their will to overcome the odds. As they pushed forward, signs of human presence became more frequent. Abandoned campsites and trails gave them hope that they were nearing civilization. Jake's spirits lifted with each sign, his confidence growing with the knowledge that they were not alone in this vast wilderness. Sarah's trust in him was unwavering, her hope renewed by their progress. Their unlikely partnership, born out of desperation and necessity, had become a powerful force. Together, they faced the challenges of the forest, each day bringing them closer to safety. Jake's bravery and Sarah's resilience intertwined, creating a narrative of survival and solidarity. The forest had tested them, but their bond had only grown stronger, ready to face whatever lay ahead. As they journeyed through the forest, Sarah began to open up to Jake about her past. Her voice was shaky, but there was a determination in her eyes that mirrored Jake's own resolve. She told him about her life before the forest, about the man who had once been her partner but had turned into her tormentor. Her words painted a picture of fear and desperation that Jake found hard to imagine but felt deeply. Sarah explained how her relationship had started with promises of love and protection, but had quickly devolved into a cycle of control and abuse. Her partner's possessiveness grew more intense with time, isolating her from friends and family. She described the helplessness she felt, trapped in a life where her every move was monitored, her every word scrutinized. Jake listened, his young mind absorbing the gravity of Sarah's experiences. He couldn't understand how someone could treat another person so cruelly, but he felt a surge of anger on her behalf. It fueled his determination to keep her safe and get her out of the forest. Sarah's story was a stark reminder of the dangers they faced, but also of the strength she possessed to survive such torment. Sarah continued, detailing the day she decided to escape. She had waited until her partner was away, gathering her strength and courage to flee. But her escape was short-lived. He had found her, dragging her back to the house and later abandoning her in the forest as a cruel punishment. Her voice trembled with emotion as she recounted the terror of those moments, her heart pounding as she fought to survive. Jake felt a deep connection to Sarah as she spoke. He admired her bravery and resilience, recognizing that their survival was intertwined. Her story was one of pain and suffering, but also of incredible strength. He promised himself he would do everything in his power to help her, drawing on the courage she had shown in the face of such adversity. Sarah's tale was one of many small acts of defiance. She had fought back in whatever ways she could, refusing to let her partner break her spirit completely. Her determination to survive, to find freedom, had brought her to this moment in the forest with Jake. She saw in him a kindred spirit, someone who understood the importance of fighting back against overwhelming odds. As they walked, Sarah's strength began to wane, but she drew energy from sharing her story. Jake's presence, his unwavering support, gave her hope. She talked about the future she dreamed of, one where she could raise her child in safety and love, far away from the horrors she had endured. Her eyes sparkled with the possibility of a new beginning, even as the forest tested their resolve. Jake found himself inspired by Sarah's vision. Her hope became his hope, her dreams his dreams. He imagined a world where they both found happiness and peace, where the forest and its dangers were just a distant memory. He felt a growing sense of purpose, a need to ensure that Sarah's dreams could come true. Their bond grew stronger with each step, each shared moment of vulnerability and strength. Sarah's story wasn't just about pain. It was also about the resilience of the human spirit. She spoke of the small joys she had clung to, the memories that had kept her going. She told Jake about her love for nature, her passion for painting, and the dreams she had once had for her future. These glimpses into her life before the abuse added depth to their journey, reminding them both of what they were fighting for. The forest, with all its challenges, became a backdrop for their growing friendship. They supported each other, finding strength in their shared determination. Sarah's story was a powerful testament to her will to survive, and it galvanized Jake's efforts to lead them both to safety. They were no longer just a lost boy and a woman in distress. They were survivors, bound by a common goal and a deepening bond. Jake's admiration for Sarah grew with each passing day. He saw in her a hero, someone who had faced unimaginable trials and still found the strength to move forward. Her story became a source of inspiration for him, a reminder that they could overcome the forest's dangers and find their way back to civilization. He felt a profound sense of responsibility to protect her and help her realize her dreams. As they continued their journey, Sarah's health became a concern. Jake watched her closely, ready to support her in any way he could. Her strength was incredible, but he knew they needed to find help soon. The forest seemed endless, but their bond and shared determination gave them the courage to keep going. Sarah's story had given Jake a new perspective on their journey, transforming it into a mission of survival and hope. The bond between Jake and Sarah deepened with each shared story and struggle. They faced the forest's challenges together, their connection growing stronger with every step. Sarah's story, filled with pain and resilience, had given them both the strength to push forward. Their journey was no longer just about survival. It was about finding a new beginning, a future where they could both thrive. Jake and Sarah pressed on through the forest, their spirits lifted by the bond they had forged. Each step was a triumph over the fear and uncertainty that had initially gripped them. The forest, once an oppressive maze, began to reveal signs of a possible exit. Animal trails and distant sounds of running water hinted at a way out, spurring them forward with renewed determination. Food and water were constant concerns. Jake, using the survival skills his father had taught him, managed to find berries and locate streams. Each find was a small victory, providing the sustenance they needed to keep moving. Sarah, despite her condition, pushed through her fatigue, her will to survive and protect her unborn child fueling her strength. They shared every morsel, every drop, their bond strengthening with each act of survival. The forest was not without its dangers. The threat of wild animals loomed large, every rustle in the underbrush setting their nerves on edge. Jake's senses were heightened, his eyes constantly scanning for movement. He fashioned a crude spear from a sturdy branch, ready to defend Sarah if necessary. His bravery was a beacon of hope for Sarah, who relied on his vigilance to keep them safe. Their journey was marked by moments of profound exhaustion. Sarah's condition worsened, her strength ebbing with each passing day. Jake's concern grew, but he hid it behind a mask of determination. He encouraged her to rest whenever possible, using his small frame to support her as they moved. Each rest stop was a chance to gather their strength and share stories that bolstered their spirits. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, they heard a distant sound, an unnatural noise that stood out against the forest's usual symphony. It was the faint hum of an engine, a possible sign of civilization. Jake's heart leaped with hope, and Sarah's eyes widened with renewed energy. They decided to follow the sound, their steps quickening despite their fatigue. The terrain became more challenging as they navigated towards the noise. Steep inclines and dense thickets tested their resolve, but the prospect of finding help pushed them on. Jake led the way, using every ounce of his strength to clear a path for Sarah. Their progress was slow, but the sound grew louder, guiding them like a beacon through the wilderness. As night fell, they stumbled upon an old, overgrown path. It was barely visible, but it was a sign of human activity. They followed it, their hopes rising with each step. The path wound through the forest, leading them towards the source of the noise. Exhaustion tugged at their limbs, but they refused to stop, driven by the promise of safety just beyond the trees. After what felt like hours, they emerged from the forest into a small clearing. There, nestled against the trees, was an abandoned cabin. It looked weathered and forgotten, but to Jake and Sarah, it was a haven. The hum of the engine was louder now, coming from an old generator beside the cabin. Relief washed over them as they realized they had found shelter and a potential means to call for help. Jake helped Sarah into the cabin, guiding her to a dusty but sturdy chair. He quickly assessed their surroundings, his eyes landing on a rusty, old radio. It was a relic, but it might still work. With shaky hands, he fiddled with the knobs, praying for a signal. Static crackled to life, and after a few tense moments, a faint voice emerged. Jake's heart raced as he called out, his voice filled with urgency and hope. The response was immediate. The voice on the other end acknowledged their distress call, promising to send help. Relief flooded Jake and Sarah, their ordeal finally nearing an end. They had found a refuge, and soon they would be rescued. The cabin, with its worn walls and creaky floors, had become a sanctuary. They collapsed onto the floor, their exhaustion mingling with a profound sense of hope. Night passed slowly as they waited for rescue. They kept the radio close, listening to the reassuring voice that promised help was on the way. Jake and Sarah huddled together for warmth, their bond unbreakable after all they had endured. The cabin's walls, which had once seemed oppressive, now felt like a protective embrace, sheltering them from the forest's dangers. Morning light filtered through the cabin's windows, bringing with it the sound of approaching vehicles. Jake's heart pounded with anticipation, and Sarah's eyes filled with tears of relief. They stepped outside, the forest now a distant memory as rescue workers emerged from the trees. The sight of their saviors brought a wave of emotion, their ordeal finally over. The rescue team quickly assessed Sarah's condition, offering medical aid and comfort. Jake watched as they tended to her, his heart swelling with a mixture of pride and relief. They were safe. Sarah's eyes found his, and she smiled through her tears, her gratitude evident. Their journey had been grueling, but they had survived together, their bond forged in the fires of adversity. The rescue team worked swiftly, attending to Sarah's immediate needs. Her exhaustion was evident, but the relief of being found buoyed her spirits. Jake stood nearby, watching as the paramedics moved with practiced efficiency. He felt a strange mix of emotions: relief, pride, and a lingering sense of disbelief that their ordeal was finally over. The forest, once a place of fear, had become a backdrop for their incredible journey. The rescuers marveled at Jake's bravery. A young boy, lost in the wilderness, had not only survived but had also saved another. They spoke in hushed tones about his courage, their admiration clear. Jake listened, feeling a warmth spread through him. He had done what needed to be done, driven by a sense of duty and the bond he had formed with Sarah. Their praise, while appreciated, felt secondary to the relief of knowing they were safe. As Sarah was placed on a stretcher, she reached out for Jake's hand. Her grip was weak but filled with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Jake squeezed her hand gently, his own eyes welling up with tears. They had come so far together, their journey marked by moments of fear, courage, and an unbreakable bond. He nodded, unable to find the words to express what he felt. The ride back to civilization was surreal. The forest receded behind them, its dense canopy giving way to open roads and signs of human habitation. Jake watched the scenery change, his mind replaying the events of the past days. Sarah rested, her eyes closed but her face relaxed for the first time in days. The rhythmic hum of the vehicle provided a comforting backdrop to their thoughts. Upon arrival at the hospital, Jake was reunited with his family. Their tearful embrace was filled with relief and joy. His parents couldn't stop thanking the rescuers and praising Jake's bravery. Sarah, too, was overwhelmed by the medical attention and the kindness of strangers. She felt a sense of safety she hadn't known in a long time. For both Jake and Sarah, the hospital represented a new beginning, a place of healing and hope. Jake visited Sarah every day. Their bond, forged in the forest, remained strong. He brought her flowers and small gifts, wanting to be there for her as she recovered. The hospital staff quickly learned of their story, marveling at the unlikely duo's resilience and courage. Jake became a local hero, his story spreading through the town and beyond, inspiring many. Sarah's health improved steadily, and she prepared for the arrival of her baby. The trauma of the past still lingered, but the support of Jake and the community helped her find strength. She knew she had a long road ahead, but she was determined to build a new life for herself and her child. The bond she shared with Jake was a constant source of comfort and motivation, reminding her of the strength they had found in each other. Jake's life changed as well. He became more confident, his sense of purpose clearer than ever. The experience in the forest had shaped him, turning his childhood curiosity into a powerful drive to help others. He spoke at local events, sharing his story and inspiring others with his bravery. The town rallied around him, proud of their young hero and eager to support his future endeavors. As Sarah's due date approached, Jake promised to be there for the birth. He felt a deep connection to her and her child, their shared journey creating a bond that felt like family. He wanted to be a part of their new life, to support them as they moved forward. Sarah's gratitude was boundless, and she welcomed Jake's presence, knowing he was an essential part of her and her baby's future. The day Sarah gave birth was filled with emotion. Jake stood by her side, holding her hand and offering words of encouragement. The moment her baby cried out, a wave of relief and joy swept through the room. Sarah held her newborn close, tears streaming down her face. Jake watched, his heart swelling with pride and happiness. They had made it. They had survived the forest and now stood at the beginning of a beautiful new chapter. The community celebrated the arrival of Sarah's baby, showering her with gifts and support. Jake was there every step of the way, his bond with Sarah and her child growing stronger each day. Their story became a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of courage, resilience, and the unbreakable human spirit. Together, they faced the challenges ahead, united by the incredible journey that had brought them together. As the rescue vehicles arrived at the hospital, a crowd had gathered, including Jake's frantic family. The moment Jake stepped out, his mother rushed forward, tears streaming down her face. She enveloped him in a tight embrace, her relief palpable. His father, struggling to hold back his own tears, placed a hand on Jake's shoulder, his eyes filled with pride and gratitude. The emotional reunion was a testament to the strength of their familial bond. Jake's family expressed endless gratitude to the rescue team and to Sarah. They were in awe of their son's bravery and resilience. Jake's mother couldn't stop kissing his forehead, whispering how proud she was. His siblings crowded around him, asking questions and marveling at his courage. It was a scene of pure, unfiltered love and relief, the kind that only comes after a harrowing ordeal. Meanwhile, Sarah was wheeled into the hospital, attended by a team of doctors and nurses. Her condition was stable, but she needed immediate medical attention. Jake watched as she was taken away, their bond unspoken but deeply felt. He knew this wasn't goodbye. Their connection, forged in the trials of the forest, would endure beyond this moment. The hospital staff quickly became aware of the incredible story of survival and heroism. They treated Jake and Sarah with the utmost care and compassion. Jake's family stayed close, offering support to Sarah as well, recognizing the deep bond she shared with their son. The atmosphere was one of collective relief and gratitude, a community coming together to celebrate the safe return of their loved ones. Sarah's health improved under the careful watch of the medical team. She was given the best care, ensuring both her and her baby's well-being. Jake visited her every day, bringing small gifts and sharing stories of what he had done since their rescue. Sarah's gratitude for Jake's family was immense, and she often expressed how their kindness and support had helped her heal. As Sarah prepared to give birth, the hospital became a place of anticipation and hope. Jake was a constant presence, his visits bringing comfort and joy to Sarah. The bond they had formed in the forest was unbreakable, and Jake's family embraced Sarah as one of their own. Together, they awaited the arrival of the baby, their hearts filled with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The day finally arrived. Sarah went into labor, and Jake was right there, holding her hand and offering words of encouragement. The delivery was intense, but Sarah's strength and determination shone through. With Jake's support and the expertise of the medical team, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The room filled with the baby's first cries, and tears of joy flowed freely from everyone present. Sarah cradled her newborn, her heart overflowing with love and relief. Jake stood by her side, his eyes wide with wonder and pride. He had been a crucial part of this journey, and now he was witnessing the beginning of a new life. The baby's tiny fingers curled around Jake's, a poignant reminder of the bond they all shared. It was a moment of pure, unfiltered emotion, the culmination of their incredible journey. The news of Sarah's safe delivery and Jake's heroism spread quickly through the community. People came to visit, bringing gifts and well wishes. The hospital room was filled with flowers, cards, and tokens of appreciation. Sarah and Jake were overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support. It was a testament to the power of community and the deep connections that can form even in the darkest of times. Jake's family was a constant source of support for Sarah. They helped her navigate the challenges of new motherhood, offering guidance and love. Jake's bond with Sarah and her baby grew stronger each day. He felt a deep sense of responsibility and pride, knowing that he had played a role in their survival and new beginning. It was a profound experience that shaped his understanding of family and friendship. As Sarah and her baby prepared to leave the hospital, a sense of excitement and anticipation filled the air. They were stepping into a new chapter of their lives, one filled with hope and endless possibilities. Jake's family helped them settle into a new home, ensuring they had everything they needed. It was a fresh start, a chance to build a life free from fear and filled with love. Jake's heroism continued to inspire those around him. He became a symbol of bravery and resilience in his community. Schools invited him to speak, sharing his story and the lessons he had learned. His experience in the forest had given him a new perspective on life and a sense of purpose. He wanted to help others, to be a source of strength and support, just as he had been for Sarah. The bond between Jake and Sarah remained unbreakable. They celebrated milestones together, their lives forever intertwined by the events in the forest. Sarah often told her son about the brave boy who had saved them, ensuring Jake's heroism would never be forgotten. Their journey, filled with trials and triumphs, had transformed them both, creating a lasting legacy of courage, love, and resilience. Jake's life took on new meaning after the harrowing experience in the forest. He became a local hero, celebrated for his bravery and quick thinking. His story was shared in schools and community centers, inspiring others with his courage. But for Jake, the greatest reward was the bond he had formed with Sarah and her baby. Their lives were now intertwined, each playing a significant role in the other's story of survival and hope. Sarah, too, began a new chapter. Free from her abusive past, she embraced her role as a mother with renewed vigor. The support from Jake and his family was invaluable, providing her with a sense of belonging and security she had longed for. She moved into a small, cozy home near Jake's family, creating a safe environment for her child. The shadows of her past gradually faded, replaced by the warmth and love of her new community. Jake's heroism opened doors he had never imagined. He was invited to speak at various events, sharing his experience and the lessons he had learned. His story was a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit, and it resonated deeply with everyone who heard it. Despite the attention, Jake remained humble, always emphasizing the collective effort of his family, the rescuers, and the community in their survival. Sarah's baby, named Hope, became a symbol of their journey. Her arrival marked a new beginning, a testament to the strength and courage of her mother and the unwavering support of Jake. As Hope grew, she was surrounded by love and stories of the incredible bravery that had brought her into a safe world. Sarah often recounted the tale to her, ensuring that she knew the depths of their shared history and the heroes who had saved them. Jake's relationship with Sarah and Hope blossomed into a deep familial bond. He spent countless hours with them, helping Sarah with the baby and enjoying the simple joys of their new life. Each smile from Hope, each moment of laughter shared, was a reminder of how far they had come. The forest, once a place of fear, was now a distant memory overshadowed by their shared triumphs. The community rallied around them, offering support in countless ways. From babysitting to providing meals, their neighbors showed an outpouring of love and solidarity. Sarah and Jake became beloved figures, their story a beacon of hope and resilience. The connection they felt with their community strengthened their resolve to give back, to help others facing their own struggles. Jake's perspective on life had changed profoundly. He felt a deep sense of responsibility to continue helping others. Inspired by his experience, he began volunteering with local rescue organizations, learning new skills and sharing his knowledge. His dream was to ensure that others could find safety and support in their darkest moments, just as he and Sarah had found in each other and their community. Sarah, too, found her calling. She began working with organizations that supported survivors of domestic abuse, using her story to empower others. Her journey from victim to survivor to advocate was a powerful testament to her strength. She knew firsthand the importance of having a support system, and she was determined to be that pillar of strength for others. As the years passed, their lives continued to flourish. Jake's dedication to helping others led him to pursue a career in emergency services, where his skills and compassion made a significant impact. Sarah's advocacy work grew, and she became a well-respected voice in the fight against domestic violence. Together, they turned their shared trauma into a source of strength and purpose. Hope grew up surrounded by love and stories of courage. She admired Jake and Sarah deeply, understanding the significance of their journey. Their bond was unbreakable, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Hope inherited their strength and determination, embodying the very essence of the name she had been given. Jake and Sarah's journey was a profound reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and courage could lead to incredible outcomes. Their lives, once marked by fear and uncertainty, had transformed into a narrative of love, resilience, and community. They faced each day with gratitude, knowing that their bond and their community's support had given them the strength to rebuild and thrive. Their story continued to inspire those around them, a testament to the power of human connection and the unyielding spirit of survival. Jake and Sarah, once lost in the forest, had found their way not just to safety, but to a life filled with purpose and love. Their journey was a reminder that with courage and support, new beginnings are always possible. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of bravery and resilience. Now, imagine a young girl facing humiliation at a party because of her skin color. Just when she thought things couldn't get worse, the revelation of her grandfather's identity left everyone in stunned silence. Curious to find out what happens next? Click on the next video to uncover the truth and see how this young girl overcomes her challenges. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to keep receiving these powerful stories. Also, if you'd like to support us in bringing you more heartwarming tales, check out the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment. Your contribution helps us continue sharing these amazing stories every day.